Hello, happy Sunday. I had to run and get lotion for my hands really quick. It's a little bit dry out there today. So, my gosh, we have like 32 people waiting in here, which is awesome. I'm feeling a good play date coming on. Let me say hi to all of my tarot friends and family. Hello, Becca, first one in. Nice to see you. Neem, second one in. Hello, and Sandra. Patrice, hi. Sue, hello. All right, who else do we have in here? We have Simon. Sage Advice Shared. That's a new name here in Playdate, I think. So welcome if this is your first time, or thanks for saying hi if you're just speaking up for the first time. Aquarius Owl is here. Hello. I always want to say good morning, but it's not morning for everybody. Hi, Kimberly Lovely. Natasha, hello. Elle, hello, my darling daughter. Science to Soul Jen up at 3:30 a.m. I know this now because we did the math yesterday. Good morning to you on Monday. Hi, Jackie. Let's see. Did I say hi to Natasha? I might have said hi, but if I didn't, hello. Let's see. It's amazing how quickly I forget. Wendy Bird, your first live play date. Welcome. I hope you have fun. Jamie, good morning. Hello. Kay, hello. Gosh, we have so many people. Hi, Emily. Shane's here, my wonderful son. Hello. House Wolf is taken care of just in time. What does that mean? Let's see. Jilly's here. Hello, sister. Uh-oh, no chatty jump. No chatty jump. Oh, no. Okay, because I know there's a bunch more people here that I wanted to say hi to. Oh, freaking hell. excuse my language. I mean, it could have been so much worse, really. Tyke and Light Moon is here. Marina's here. Hi. Val's here. My gosh, we've got a crew today. Let's see. I just saw Marina, and then Selkie's here, and Jennifer Ball. Hello, my darling. Michelle's here. Turid. Did I say that already? Did I say hi to you? Yes, I must. Well, some people just get two hellos. We're all just going to have to be okay with that. Kathy Peterson, Sean, good morning, Sean. I have the mug you gave me today. Thank you. Chris Kelly is here. Wiccan's here. I'm scrolling backwards and forwards. Christina. If I missed anyone, I'm so sorry. I don't know why the chat just jumps for no good reason. Housewolf is Soldier. Oh, that makes sense. Give Soldier a good pet from his grandmom. All right. I think I said mostly hello. If I missed you, I'm so sorry. It's certainly not intentional. I never bypass anybody intentionally. So let's get going. Last week, we had the 10 of Pentacles, which was a really fun card. I really enjoyed. I know I say this every time, but but some days I just enjoy more than others. And this one was a really fun play date. I think there was so much to dive into with this particular card that I don't know. And I just felt like everybody was super engaged and the energy was great. So I just want to say a big thank you to everyone who was here last week and helped make that be so fun, for me at least, but I hope you all had fun. Also, I did do the activity that we had for this one last night, and it was challenging. I don't know. I think that's an activity that I made up, and I made it hard because or maybe it was either me or Jilly that was like, okay, try not to use court cards, which was really hard when you try to identify family and friends as people in the tarot and not use the court cards. I mean, you can if you want to, obviously, but it was a fun challenge, and I took it on. So, hi, Bastet. Nice to see you. Let's see. I hope I didn't miss anyone else coming in. But shall we just kind of get ready to start our next card, which starts off with, because we have a couple of new people here, but I give the instructions every time. And so some of you could probably say this out loud with me or for me. Can we please get a major? Elizabeth asked for. All right, so let's start off with gathering our list of 5 questions that we want to ask our card for the week that we can use to answer. Hey, it's never too late to do the activity, Elle. Okay, Simon's on it for me. I love it when somebody's like got it ready to paste in there. All right, so Simon says, and then I have Kathy right on it, and Emily, you guys are on it today. What spiritual lessons do we need to focus on and master right now? Ooh, that's really a good question. That's actually something I'm really thinking about personally, Simon. So thanks for that. What spiritual lessons, okay, I have to get this thing to pause for me, do we need to focus on and master right now? Awesome question. All right, 2. You're going to stick around for the answer this time, right? All right, from Kathy, how do we maintain mindfulness during this time of pandemic and social unrest? That is a great question and it's a big question. All right, so how do we maintain, sorry, I write out loud again, so 1, so I don't screw it up, and 2, so I'm really doing something here and not just ignoring you. Mindfulness during this time of pandemic and social unrest. Let's see. And then from Emily, how can we parent ourselves with self-love and compassion this week? Interesting way to phrase that, Emily. Okay. How can we parent or care, if some people don't like that? I don't know. Clearly, I'm rebelling against the word parent. Parent, care, let's see, for ourselves. But I like that idea of looking up. That's another thing I was thinking about this week. It's like I need to be better at some of the self-care stuff with self-love and compassion this week. Okay, and I haven't let the chat scroll, so I have no idea how many questions came in after that, but hopefully we've got them. All right, so let's scroll a little bit more. Oh no, it jumped again. All right, I have from Shane, what's something to remember to keep spirits high and times fun right now? Love that. Do I not have another question after that? Oh, no, Julie gave me one. Okay, we've got 5. Thank you, everyone. I really appreciate it. What's something to remember? I wish I could write these faster. I know it takes forever to keep spirits high. I tried typing it once, and I just got all kinds of confuzzled. So, and times fun right now. I like how you're trying to like, maybe you guys aren't. But sometimes are we asking questions to like game the decks? Like, give us a good card. We're going to ask questions. So give us a good card. And then Jilly says, what blind spots do we need to see? So way to keep us balanced, Jilly. Okay, what blind spots? What a great group of questions this week do we need to see? All right, I'll give you guys the rundown here. All right, let me scroll my chat on up. You always stick around for the answer. Do you? Well, that's good. I mean, you're always here, Simon, and I very much appreciate it. Jen, scales aren't balanced. It's freaking, you know what it is? It's the camera angle. They totally are. I wonder if I twisted them. Is that any? I changed my camera angle so that I could maybe get some better light from my window, which is right here. So instead of being like front on to the scales, so it's a depth perception problem. They're balanced, I promise, because I have to have it like that. All right. So now I can't stop looking at the scales. Okay, you guys, look here for my OCD folks in the room, which I completely actually understand. Let me move my chalice wall water here. There. It's a little better. Oh, except for this is like not good because that deck is in the way. There. Are we better now? Yeah, see, you can see the door. You can see some of my Shane bags hanging up there. All right. Okay. Did Jen ask a question that I missed? Oh yeah, I had 5 in already. How do we break through any fears? Bring that back next week, will you, Jen? If you're here, that would be wonderful. Okay, so no more OCD freakouts. I'm trying to do it on a short notice here. Okay, now we need to, like, Jamie's little wood burning thing he did for me. All right, so let's review our questions as I shuffle. I totally get it. I would be obsessed by the unbalanced scales as well. All right, so from Simon, we have, what spiritual lessons, let me face this way. What spiritual lessons do we need to focus on and master right now? From Kathy, how do we maintain mindfulness during this time of pandemic and social unrest? Oh, I can barely read my own writing when I try to write fast. Emily, how can we parent ourselves or care for? I wrote that down funny. Okay. Parent or care for ourselves with self-love and compassion this week. Okay, now I'm messing up my shuffle rhythm. From Shane, what's something to remember to keep spirits high and things fun right now? And then Jilly, what blind spots do we need to see? All right. One more good shuffle and we'll pull our card for the week. Okay. Here we go. What did we get? What did we get? Ooh, another Pentacles. I mean, from the 10 to the 7. Okay, Val, it's nice to have you here in whatever way you can participate. Sorry, meme, no major, another Pentacles. But, you know, this is going to be really interesting as we proceed to answer the questions. But kind of what are your first impressions? So Elle's got a bunch of O's, which could be good or bad. You never know with her. Sean's loving it. Elizabeth is like, oh, do I read it like, oh, or do I read it like, oh? So you have to clarify your O for me. Simon's saying it's time to check our progress, right? Maybe we need to check in with ourselves, and that might be part of some of these questions that we asked. As you sow, so shall you reap, says Kathy. This is T-Cat's all-time stalker. Hi, T-Cat, by the way. Emily likes the card. Okay, good. Okay, good. Sandra's like, it's all right. It's okay. SNC's growth. No major. I know. You know, we'd like to save them up to surprise you. They'll come up when they need to. We got to have faith in the tarot. Kiana. Oh, hi, Kiana. Taking stock of your accomplishments. Waiting, says Christina. Shane, it's still some work to be done. I know little about Pentacles, but go figure. Well, you're right, Shane, because it's the 7, right? So we're not done. There's clearly more work to be done. And we're kind of in that maybe wait and see mode at the moment. Let's see. Wendy says this card has been coming up a lot for me in my daily readings. See, you guys bring the energy to play date and the tarot answers. That's what happens. Julie's meh. Jackie, be patient. Some people don't love the Pentacles. I find them to be my least favorite suit, or that's traditionally what I have found, but I'm learning to grow to love them in many ways. Simon says, seeing the results of our hard work and efforts. Did I see, oh, sage advice shared. This one is perfect because I was going to ask a question about patience. See, it's here, it knows. Patience, says Elizabeth. Hard work that pays off, says Bastet. Chris says, my question about how do I read that O is sort of in keeping with this card, right? Is it going to turn out well? Is it going to turn out not so great? Hi, Jody. Nice to see you. Let's see. Oh, hi, Robin. I didn't see you sneak in here either. Noting patience. Oh, and Heather's here too. It's a Met card. I know, but I mean, look at his face. I think he kind of agrees. You know? It feels like a breath, says Emily, a pause to reflect on where we are going and what we are manifesting before we continue towards our goals. Bijan's back. Hello, welcome back again. Trial and error, says Elizabeth. Let's see. Elle says, I like it. Cultivating, a pat on the back, taking stock of all that has happened thus far. Simon loves the Pentacles. They're very grounding, and I've started to appreciate what it means to be grounded and to have the right focus on the things that are material and body and all the things that the Pentacles often represent. Sean says it's his favorite suit. I did not know that, Sean. Good to know. Elizabeth, stand back and evaluate where you are or whether you are on the right path. Almost missed that one. Simon loves Pentacles and Cups. You know, now I'm starting to think I just love all the suits. I know some people don't love the swords, but I will always love the swords. Wendy. Wendy, you said you were late. I could swear you were here earlier, but if not, hello. Chris says I've been getting pentacles all weekend. I started back on the diet, so that might be why. I saw that somewhere that you posted that on Facebook somewhere, Chris. I think it was on Facebook, and I was like, I need to be doing that. So maybe, yeah, maybe there's some messages in here for me. Emily says it's almost like the sunset on a hard day of work right before the next day of hard work. Oh, that's interesting. I've never looked at it like that, but I love that. It's like you're finishing your day, you're kind of seeing where you're at, but the next day you're going to be back to work harder. We're going to be hitting that 8 tomorrow, right? Elizabeth says, learn to take criticism. It's not negative. It's making you grow from it, right? When it's constructive. If it's just rude, then I don't have to take that, right? Let's see here. Wendy, take time to rest and appreciate the work you have done and wait now for the outcomes. Wait now for the outcome gives time for reflection. Wiccan, there is a goal in sight and you are close to achieving it, but now it is time to stop and reflect. And Elle just said, I can't relate to the pentacle suit. You can. It's just where you're at in the pentacle suit. Sandra says, swords are my least favorite suit. I know, I can tell by your reaction every time we pull one and play it. Emily, I feel like I sense the sun setting or even that it's gone below the landscape. Yeah, I've never really thought about that sort of sun setting aspect, but I'm loving the picture that you guys are painting for me on that. Kiana says work and the potential for success. Lots of people loving the swords, and I'm not trying to speak for everybody, but I'm glad you're with me. But I'm not afraid of a good challenge most of the time. Sometimes when all the swords are coming at you, it can be a bit exhausting, and then you're like, okay, done. I'm done with the swords. like we were getting them a lot in Playdate, and I'm pretty sure it's my fault, so I apologize for that. Robin says, time to rest from your work. I've been sleeping all day. Let's see here. Kathy, pentacles have been in all my spreads this week. It seems so positive. Butterfly Magic with Hot Tea. Hello and welcome in. Let's see here. Oh, stop jumping, Chitty Chat. I even have like my finger on the scrolling. It still is jumping. I don't even know why. Let's see. We're talking about our favorite suits in the orders. Kiana, rest from work, contemplating what comes next. Robin says a watched pentacle doesn't grow like a watched pot never boils. I mean, it will eventually, but it really does seem to take about 5 times as long, right? But if I take the dogs out while I'm boiling my tea, it seems like that pot is whistling before I can even get back in the house. But if I'm sitting around right before Playdate trying to make my tea, the thing never boils. It's like, that's just how it goes. Let's see. Aquarius Owl, his face looks bored. Maybe all this work isn't worth it or as exciting as you would like it to be. Interesting perspective. Hi, Anj. Welcome. Kiana, bearing fruit, harvesting, clearing. Wendy, there seems to be blue water at the back of the person, and he has blue trousers and sleeves. So time to get into touch with where you are emotionally whilst having time to do this. And I will pull this card in so we can look much closer at it. I know I'm kind of far away, but it's because I'm resting my arms so I don't get too tired. But I promise I'll bring it up closer. Let's see. Wiccan says, need to keep focus on goals and work through those times you are tired of restlessness. Reward will come. I think I read that funny, but all the words make sense, right? And you guys can read it in the chat, so you can correct my inflection. Natasha says, take a step back and observe for a fresh new perspective. Let's see. Wendy, being patient with yourself as you grow and try to heal. Chris Kelly is bringing in the 7 for us with the numerology, so which Kiana's often great at as well. Assessment, pence, things in life that make us feel safe and secure. Take some time to look at the situation you are in and see if any change is needed. Patience needed, as it won't necessarily be a quick process. Focus on the next step as well as the final outcome. Jackie says 1 is dropped. So this one down here. Is he sad/disappointed that 1 is wasted after all his hard work? Yeah, it's kind of, it can be hard to just look at the percentages, right? It's sort of like in YouTube land where we could have, 50 thumbs up on a video. I'm just coming to a ridiculous example, but 50 thumbs up and 1 thumbs down. And how often are we looking at that 1 thumbs down? Now, not everybody's a content creator, but you get the idea, right? It's like, you know, if you have a bunch of balloons and one flies off into the sky, you're so focused on that balloon, you forget you still have all the other ones still in your hand. So prepare a new strategy and be ready to make your next move, says Simon. Ooh, I like that one. Wiccan says, yes, we're in the, oh, you're talking about holidays with Science to Soul, Jen. Robin asked, does money grow on trees? Not literally. I mean, unless you found a tree, then I'm taking a trip once COVID is over. Wendy, you have done all you can for the time being. It needs time to grow to its full potential. Kathy says he seems to be reflective. Sean, satisfaction with the hard work you've done. Yes, making sure that you take time to reflect and appreciate what you've done, even if it's not fully done yet, like being able to reflect on and kind of be satisfied with the effort you've put in. Sometimes we forget to do that, and that might come into sort of that mindfulness question that we had this week. Let's see. Emily says, I love the deviant moon version of this card. The mother creature is blessing the tree, and the tree seems to be bleeding, almost like the letting of blood is supporting the growth. So Emily, I'm gonna task you with something if you don't mind. I would love to see a picture of that in the Facebook group because I'm pretty positive you're a member in there. Elle says the hoe. LOL, of course you did. Proper implementation of the right tool for effective correlation between mind and matter. A tool for creating something new from your experience thus far. TCAT says, I'm about to bring this close so we can look at all these symbols. I always see the kind of multiple way. It can either be that you're still pondering what you have grown or that you're not very happy for the results after all. Thank you, Emily. Appreciate your cooperation as I demand you do something in the Facebook group. I mean, I asked nicely. I didn't demand. All right. Jilly says, persevere. Check with ourselves and with our inner ? Work. Keep growing. Be open to the fertilizer and work that goes into exploring, cultivating, and growing. Kiana brings more of the numerology in for us. As per usual, thank you. I love it when you're here with your numerology for us. Discipline, work ethic, changing course, struggle, reflection, ambitions, knowledge, potential, action, assessment, victory. Whew. Now I feel like this guy. I'm like exhausted. Becca kind of puts it into conversation like, have I done enough, right? Let's see. The different colored boots. What needs to be done from a personal point of view? Okay, let me pull this in because I now have, I think we have both Simon and Elle looking at the fabulous Ultimate Guide to the Rider-Waite-Smith, which always goes into like the symbols in each of these cards, plus bringing their own knowledge, I'm sure. But let's take a quick close look at this because we haven't really done that yet. So you can get a good look at the expression on his face. Oh, I didn't realize like his garden tool there, or his hoe, was red. I don't think I really noticed that before. Yeah, and it's kind of hard to see what like the landscape is back here. It does look watery. There's certainly some mountains, but he wouldn't be standing on the water, I don't think. It's interesting coloration there. And I never noticed the two colored boots. Never ever. Did anybody else not notice that either? So thanks for pointing that out, Simon. That's a super interesting fact or observation, I guess. All right. Okay. While I was looking at that, what did I miss? You retracted your message about the boots. Why did you do that? Bring it back. Yeah. Why did you take that away, Simon? All right. Wiccan says Saturn in Taurus, load of success unfulfilled because he delays reward until they have been earned. So this also kind of like the don't count your chickens before they're hatched kind of vibe from this card. Oh, scrolling again. Oh, hi, Jonathan. Giving an acupuncture treatment. Oh, I've never had acupuncture, but someday I want to try it. Bijam, growing abundance, feeling of being on the right track may be present to ponder. Simon says, okay, the odd boots, the boots being on the other foot. Okay. Taking considerations into account. So kind of like when the shoe's on the other foot, taking into account a different perspective. Is that kind of what you're meaning by that? Yeah, I had never noticed that before either. Obviously, I already said that, but get on the right foot, says Robin. Shane, to me, the light blue is more plants, the way it curls and has tiny curl offshoots. Yeah, it does look very bushy, so to speak. Oh, you hit enter too quickly. It's okay. I'll forget. Okay. Did my chat stop or have we hit the end of this card? Oh, no, there it goes. Okay. Oh, finding yourself questioning, was the rewards enough to justify all that hard work? Was it really worth it? Yeah, so a lot of contemplation over the work that we've done. Now, when I first learned this card, I always thought about it as the patience. Like, okay, now I'm waiting for my crops to grow, but I never really focused on the reflective aspect of it. So I love getting that to further round out this card for me, because it felt a little one-dimensional when I first learned, and you guys are showing me just how much dimension there is to this card. Kathy says, how strange to have different color boots, although both are earth colors, right? They're both brown. Well, kind of. I guess that one's sort of more orange. Now I can't stop seeing it. Like, I'm fascinated by those multicolored boots. The offshoots could be potential, says Bijam. Oh, interesting. Yes. Kind of like with the growth off the wands, right? Chris says, I have the blue and white Lilybacks original RWS and the boots are the same color. This is really interesting. So I have, let me take a look, if you guys will indulge me for just a second. So I have my blushing fool here. Of course, the 8 of Pentacles is right on top. It should be a pretty fast card to find. Here it is. Oh, so in my blushing fool, they are different colors as well. So I don't think it's an accident because I trust this deck a lot. That's just me, though. All right. So let's see. The boots also don't match on the 7 of Wands, says Butterfly Magic. So I interpreted that as he rushed from home so fast to get to battle, there was not enough time to match, right? So he's like rushing out here to his garden. He's like, I got to check on my plants. I don't care what my boots match. Let's see. Simon says, so instead of focusing on your own perspectives, consider other viewpoints, right? Put yourself in the other person's shoes, or just wear 2 different shoes yourself. Let's see. Watch your focus. You may be very attentive to your work, but when you got up and you put on mismatched socks, says Robin, right? Are we distracted? Are we so focused on this that we are not taking care of other things, perhaps, and not paying attention to the shoes we're putting on our feet? Kiana's bringing some astrological associations in for us. Saturn in Taurus means endeavor. The influence of the taskmaster planet Saturn leaves no room for fantastical plans and proposals. Whatever you do must be grounded, organized, and ... She ran out of text room. All right. The position of the head, says Simon, expresses tiredness, but also careful study. All right. It's like tired, but focusing and looking. All right. We got Kiana's ... and nurtured with consistent effort. I'm glad you're loving it. All right. He got dressed in the dark, right? I mean, especially people who are in agriculture, right? They get up at literally, well, I suppose there is no literal version of this, but at dark early, right? So they're probably dressing in the dark while their partner, if they have one, is still sleeping, right? Shane says the boots being 2 different colors could show that some things aren't important, like the color of our shoes. Other things around us are much more so. Don't worry about the little things. Focus on the best things in your hard work, right? Don't sweat the small stuff. That's I like that, Shane. Emily says it could be to do with finances, mismatching shoes. His pens are all growing after all, so perhaps he's not managed to harvest much yet, right? Bijam says this fellow's up every day to do this tiring job. Maybe he wants more. He is capable of more. Wigan says the vine leaves may be full, but there is no fruit yet, right? No grapes on this bush, right? So nothing to spend, says Emily. All right, are we thinking we're about ready? So we're about 30 minutes in here. Shall we start looking at some of our alternative cards and answering some of our questions? Let me take a sip of tea here. Robin says, harvesting enough to be able to buy a new pair of shoes. Exactly. I was just talking about the love of shoes with some girlfriends of mine yesterday. I used to collect shoes, and then I switched to tarot decks. So, all right. So the first of my randomly selected decks this week, you can tell we're back in rotation because some of these have come, I think, not too long ago. We've got the spacious tarot today. So this should be fun, I think. Oops, I got my stickers flying out of here. So I love this one. It always gives us a new and different perspective because we don't have very many people in these cards, or any people for that matter. We have some animals, but also, how glad are we that we are out of Mercury retrograde? Mercury, not Mercury, Mercury retrograde right now. I'm happy. I'm happy about that. I asked him if I should say it Beejum or Beejum, and he said either one. It's Ben, though, isn't that? Is that right? I don't want to call you the wrong name, so I got a little nervous. Oh, we got this candle burning over here, doing nothing. Okay, so here is our Seven of Pentacles in the Spacious Tarot. So let me pull it up close. I like how we have like different colors and styles of pentacles. And then we have this, to me, and I suppose it's all about perspective. This pumpkin looks huge, but it might not be. It could be a tiny pumpkin, but to me, it looks really large. Let's see. Essence had said, he is made to realize that material things aren't enough to feed the soul. Nourishment of life comes only through spiritual cultivation. Not my words. Well, they're still good words. I appreciate that. And then Elle was bringing in some more astrological associations. The Hierophant, the world in Taurus, the Hierophant combined is the 7 Pence. Saturn brings karmic results in terms of relationships with others. Hierophant rules commitments and spiritual law. Interesting. Okay, Jack and the Beanstalk was Kathy's first impression of this card. Jen says that this card really screams growth. Oh, thank you. That's very sweet. I got very lazy and put it in a ponytail today, which I don't often do when I'm video. This card says growth all over the place, says Jilly, right? But again, you still get that sense that it takes a while, right? This pumpkin, does anyone know how long it takes a pumpkin to grow to like harvesting size? Because I know nothing about gardening, but I'm curious if if it takes a long time. Something tells me it does, but let's see. Sean says our harvest is bringing what we want after hard work, right? So we have a very, what looks like a very consumable pumpkin for either Halloween or for food, right? You plant pumpkin in spring and harvest in late fall. So it takes a good, then what, 6 months, something like that? All summer long, says Jilly. So yeah, so we got to be somewhat patient. It doesn't take a year, which is, I guess, what I was assuming. 120 days. Did you Google that? Is it literally 120 days? Okay, I don't need little security reminders right now, computer. Thanks so much. Between 90 and 100 days, 120 days. See, we're learning stuff. 3 months. Okay, I guess 120 days would be 3 months. Okay, so it's not terribly long. Like, it's doable. You don't plant your pumpkin and think, okay, I have to wait forever. I have to exhibit some level of patience, but I will still get pumpkin sooner than later, I suppose. Okay, do you want to see what the book says? Sorry to turn my back on you. Let's see what the book says. She puts her pentacles at the front. Okay, 7. The 7 of Pentacles shows you all of the progress you've already made. Now is the time to acknowledge the fruits, pumpkins in this case, of your labor. You may still have much work to do, but first pause and evaluate the growth that has transpired so far. All things you have all been saying. It's also a good time to plan for what you'd like to cultivate in the future. Does your current trajectory still feel right? Are the results you're seeing so far in line with your broader vision? Keep going if the path feels fruitful, but remember, it's never too late to adjust the way you plant your crops, right? So if it's not working out the way you want, you have an opportunity to change things. All right, am I missing anything here? Depends on how big the pumpkin is, right? I mean, if you're participating in one of those giant pumpkin contests, imagine it takes a little bit longer, right? All right, now we're They grow in abundance, says Sean. If you want to eat the pumpkin, harvest earlier. If you want a big carving pumpkin, grow longer. See, lots of people here know way more about pumpkins than I do. All right, let's see here. Ben and Jim Jams. So it is Ben. Okay, I had that right. Let's see here. Julie says, planting pumpkins with kids is an exercise in patience for them and me. Is it time yet? Is it big enough yet? Can we go check the pumpkins for the 10th time today? It's kind of like when you're on a road trip, right? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Chris says, because it's a pumpkin, I'm trying to decide whether there's any connection between this card's meaning and Halloween, but having a brain fart moment. Help. I don't know. I mean, I think we have a huge association with pumpkins and Halloween, but also it's just like one of the other squashes that we have in the late fall and the winter, right? TCAT says, this card is missing the contemplation part that the RWS card had. This has more like that all good things come for those who wait, right? So it definitely seems to have the patience piece of it, I think, is more obvious in this card than the reflection. I completely get what you're saying. So let's look at this in relation to Simon's question. What spiritual lessons do we need to focus on and master right now? Patience, contemplation, reflection. I feel like we've been answering this question like the whole way through so far. What spiritual lessons do we need to focus on and master right now? And maybe it's that immediate gratification isn't really a thing on our spiritual journeys, right? You know, when we embark on something new or we're trying to take things to the next level, we want to see those results pretty quickly. And with spiritual journeys, especially, I think you definitely have to be in it for the long game, and you have to stop and check your progress throughout. Like, am I on the right path? Is this the direction that I want to go? Kind of like what I think it was what it said in the book, right? It's like you don't have to stay this path. You might want to change paths. So I think there's a lot of ways that this card can answer that question. Lori, welcome in. Let's see. Kathy says meditation, listening and accepting that we are working hard, right? Essence says acknowledge and appreciate your growth instead of stressing about not reaching your goal yet. Simon says, maybe we are further advanced than we think we are, right? So maybe we've accomplished more. And if we actually look and stop and evaluate, rather than, you know, if you're always looking forward to what you want to do next, you might miss what you've already accomplished and sort of the trail of awesomeness that you've left behind you, right? Or that's in your life right now. Chris says, put a plan in place and be patient. Concentrate and give your attention to each step and make sure you reward yourself for your hard work along the way and not just after the end result. Hi, Rose. Nice to see you in here. Welcome. Heather says, sometimes you need to stop working and allow the work you have already done to bed in a bit. Yeah, so, you know, taking that moment to pause and reflect. Essence is sometimes you have to look back to see how far you've come. Emily says the yard may not look perfect, but the sunset sure is beautiful anyway, right? So if you can look past whatever weeds are still left that need to be pulled or whatever baby plants haven't fully grown yet, if you look beyond, yeah, that sunset is pretty gorgeous, isn't it? Patrice says, is each of these coins a spiritual lesson? Focus on one at a time, right? So give each one the due attention. Make sure you water everything, not just part of the plant, right? I like that. Any other thoughts on that before we move on to our next card and our next question? We're moving on this one pretty quickly. Oh, Kiana says, take the time to reflect on the seeds you have sown and what has been accomplished thus far. But don't linger too long as there is still work to do. All right, Wendy, thanks for stopping by. Essence says, see, I look and say, damn, I only have one pumpkin, but it could be none, right? And again, that's kind of measuring results with expectations. And sometimes our expectations might not be reasonable or attainable or fair, I guess, to ourselves. It's like sometimes we expect way more of ourselves that we miss what we've accomplished so far, right? TCAT says, show care to those seedlings that may not yet look much, but will grow, or look like much of anything, but will grow lovely someday. Heather says, instead of focusing on each individual coin, focus on the roots of what will make them grow. So that's really interesting. Like like dive deeper and figuring out, are we laying the right foundation? Are we nourishing the soil properly? Are we watering it? You know, I can put a tree in the ground, but if I don't water it, it's not going to grow, is it? So focusing on the top of the tree isn't really going to help me out. See, I know a little bit. I know that plants need water. That's about the extent of my knowledge. All right, that is a good one. I think this card is really simple. So, all right, so now we're going to probably go a little bit of a different direction. My next deck today is Tarot Marchetti's Tarot of Dreams, which I haven't looked at in a while. I was thinking about it. I was like, gosh, I feel like it's been forever since I've seen this deck. So this one must have come, you know, when I made its first round through tarot, first round through my collection for tarot. Dropsies. I hate these two-part boxes where they put half the deck on, and there's no separator. They just put half the deck on one side, half the deck on the other. So now I got to try and find the coins in here, which is coins instead of pentacles. Oh, this is cute. Okay, let's see here. All right, well, now this is a big old mess. That's fun. All right, I'm going to leave the book out, though, in case we want to use it. I know, I feel like my dropsies have gotten way better, but every once in a while we got to pull out a good one just for old time's sake. So here is, I didn't show the, I mean, y'all know what the back of the other one looks like, but all right, let me pull this up so you can take a look. So there we go. We have some astrological symbols up there. Taurus, as we know. Puppy, it's Logan, Heather. And we have some baskets, but the baskets are empty, it looks like, which is interesting. So maybe she's waiting to harvest. Let's see. Yeah, the box is not great with this one. Right? It is Logan. It looks just like him. So Heather's dog looks just like this little guy, a little Yorkshire Terrier, right? So what do we think here? So here, I love that she's like hanging out under the tree. Let's look at the expression on her face again. I feel like that's a really important part of this card. Focus. There we go. She looks fairly content, just hanging out under the tree, ready to pick the fruit, but she hasn't started yet. So she's certainly being patient, because those pentacles look pretty ripe to me. I'd be like pulling them off the tree already. I don't have the patience. She looks a little stressed, says Emily. Maybe it's her eyes. Oh, interesting. Kiana says she definitely looks like she's waiting to harvest those coins. Jackie says she looks proud. I think she looks kind of proud too. It's almost borderline smug, but not quite, because I don't think this card calls for smugness. But Neem says, I mean, this looks like enjoyment, appreciation, and relaxed, right? She's like, well, I might have to wait, but I'm going to hang out with my pup. I'm going to enjoy the day sitting under this beautiful tree. It actually looks like a lovely way to spend the day. Linda says, I see the figure as androgynous, which is always good. And I actually think that's a really good point. I think it's because of the style of the headdress, but you're right. There's nothing that necessarily says that that has to be a woman. That's for sure. Heather does see a bit of smugness. Robin says, she looks very territorial. My fruit, all mine. So do you think that's why she's sitting under the tree with her empty baskets, even though it's not time to harvest? She doesn't want anybody else to come and take her pentacles that she worked so hard to grow? Maybe. Julie says, geez, and here's me thinking she's got the who the F are you look. Well, maybe it's because she's protecting those pentacles. And she's like, don't come near my tree. I did this, not yours, mine. Neem says, come on, puppy, come take a picture under my tree that I planted and nurtured. Definitely proud. Chris says, there's a doggy. I'm going to be useless here, guys, right? Because you can't stop looking at the cute doggy. Lori says, I thought it was a man. Okay, so we have some gender things happening. Maybe I should just say they from now on. Shane says, the baskets are empty. However, the fruits are plentiful. There is a pause and rest and a feeling of relaxation while there is still fruit to pick. Anj says Saturn and Taurus gives lessons in true sense of values before this position brings peace. Extremely possessive where items or loved ones are concerned. It does seem to have more of a possessive vibe than I certainly think we've seen in any of the other cards so far. Yeah, the Yorkie does look happy. Maybe that's why I see the strain on her face, says Emily. So thinking about like the protectiveness, Kiana says she does seem pleased with her efforts thus far, just waiting patiently. Sage Advice says it looks like she's tired and has darkness around her eye, right? And especially when you look at it far away, right? Yeah. So maybe that's a little bit of exhaustion that's being painted into that card, right? Or drawn into that card, or however we want to say that. Chris says, so she's waiting with her baskets poised and ready, even though she doesn't want to pick the fruit yet. She could surely be doing better things with her time and come back when the tree is ready. Unless she's doing that thing that, but I think that's a great point. But I also am thinking maybe she is just there appreciating the work, right? Just sitting here going, okay, this is cool. Like this tree, it's not ready for the fruit yet, but it sure provides great shade, you know? Sean thought it was male, female, they. Anya says, needs to guard against making material things too important. Always always something we have to watch out for when we're looking at the pentacle suit for sure, right? Anya says, the test of ownership is here. Essence, dark circles, hard work ain't easy. T-Cat, she looks relaxed and sure that those pentacles will be just what she hoped them to be. Like her pentacle growing from the start to the harvest was well planned. So we feel like we have more confidence this is the impression that I'm getting from your comments, is that we seem to have more confidence coming in this version of the card, maybe in this one, right? This one maybe seems a little more skeptical, a little more worried, whereas in this card, the character, person, woman, man, whatever, seems to be more sure about what they've grown. Does that seem fair to say? Let's see. Jackie says maybe they are guarding the fruits of their labors, right? Jen says maybe she's going to sneakily pick the fruit before it's ripe. She's waiting for the onlookers to pee off. So as soon as we all get out of here, that fruit's going in the basket, right? Bastet says this card has a very grounding vibe, so much green in it. Sean says satisfaction. You're very good at being succinct, Sean. I love that. All right, Essence says, take the time to smell the flowers, or in this case, hug the dog. Heather, I think the RWS is more obvious. The person has been working. This one is less obvious. Like, do we even know that she had anything to do with those pentacles being on the tree? There's no garden tool in her hand. It could be that somebody else did all the work and she's just about, or he or they is about to reap the rewards of somebody else's efforts. Twisted, flipping the script a little bit there. Emily, I almost feel the other way. I feel like the RWS character feels more content. This person seems guarded. Oh, that's interesting. See, different perspectives, different colored shoes. Kiana says, I might have to buy this deck. It's actually really beautiful. And the reason that I bought this deck way back when was for the astrological associations, but I bought it very early in my tarot journey. And I realized there was so much to learn before I started bringing all the astrology into it that I don't know either, that I've been a little slower to do that. So I haven't spent a lot of time with it yet. I think it's kind of, I'm waiting patiently for the time to be right for me to use this deck. So here, let's see what's said here in this book here. I don't know how many times I need to repeat the same words over as I was stalling, as I was flipping to the page. This card is about the virtue of patience, i.e. waiting until the right moment before taking action. The woman, okay, so Chiro says it's a woman, but you can still see it however you want. You have full permission. The woman in this picture has undergone the dynamic and exciting creative processes shown in the previous coins cards, which we didn't really see in this deck, and is now prepared to harvest the fruit of her labor, but is waiting until the perfect moment of ripeness. Often the proper timing can make all the difference in our endeavors. The card could also indicate that you have nurtured something and it has now grown to the point where it no longer requires your constant attention. Now you can sit back and watch it grow. Alternatively, the woman could be seen as at a crossroads, evaluating the situation to determine what her next move will be. Will she pick the fruit? Will she fertilize the tree? Will she cut the tree down and plant something else? That would seem like a waste. Don't do that. Don't cut it down. I disagree with that. She stares out of the card at us asking, what would you do? Oh, I really love that. The woman's companion sits in her lap, eager to help harvest. So bringing in the Saturn and Taurus astrology, Taurus wishes to immediately enjoy the sensual experience of eating the fruit, but Saturn cautions patience and self-discipline. Okay, that was really good. But it also just again highlights that everything you guys were saying is kind of the intent of this card. I love it. Thank you for coming, Sage Advice Sharon. I don't know if you're already gone because I was reading that. This is the Tarot of Dreams by Chira Marchetti. Let's see here. The shoes. I think it's the satisfaction of a hard day's work that the RWS has. And this one, I feel like the person seems a bit on edge. Yeah, I think that the Pentacles in this deck are actually really, really beautiful. Interesting about the timing. She's waiting beside the tree and not leaving it. Yeah, I really liked what the book had to say. Man, every time we do play date, I'm like, oh, I want to work with that deck. And I want to work with that deck. And then there's never enough time to work with all the decks. All right, so we had a question from Kathy. Let me pull this up again. We actually have a question to answer. This was a fun card to dive into. Kathy asked, how do we maintain mindfulness during this time of pandemic and social unrest? I actually just got goosebumps up the back of my neck because I feel like this card in particular or particularly answers that question really well. So I'll be interested to hear what you guys think. But my first impression of this, it really is to find those moments. You know, we're waiting for things to change. We're waiting for the fruit to be ripe enough for us to pick so that we can then nourish ourselves and move forward and all of that. But we can still take that moment of pause to reflect on where we're at, where we've come from, where we're going, gauge our timing, all of that. So being able to find that moment where you can sit in the shade with your fur baby or furry little friend might be a nice way to be able to help you maintain that mindfulness and finding those moments of gratitude amongst all these difficult things and challenges that we're facing. Kind of like what Jen Science to Soul did recently with her 7-day gratitude challenge, right? So TCAT says that woman must be a regular at the gym if she wishes to smack that tree down. Seriously, that'd be a lot of work. That's a thick trunk happening there. Jen, the question was, how do we maintain mindfulness during this time of pandemic and social unrest? How much we have to, says Sean? How much we have to, was it in response to something I said that I've already forgotten? And finding the magic in every day. Yes, I love that, Emily. Turid, go within and ask what kind of normal you want going forward. After the corona crisis, how do you wish your life to be like? What do you take with you and what do you leave behind? Yeah, and I think, you know, a lot of the things that we've seen with COVID and the pandemic is sort of the opportunities for us to be healthier and for our planet to be healthier. We talk about social unrest and the fight against racism, right? And that being really prevalent right now and a major point of focus. One of my things that I keep thinking about is I want to be really careful that I don't just go back to a new normal, that I don't let things go back to the way that they were, and that I keep fighting for the long game, right? And making sure that I'm doing things that keep working to fight systemic racism and to be vocal about being anti-racist and not letting, just because maybe protests have stopped and we've moved on to some different big news item, that we don't lose focus on the things that are really important. So it's being patient and being in it for the long game, and being mindful of that we don't, once we pick the fruit, think it's all done, right? There's another season that's going to come around. Anyway, sorry, soapbox. Down again. All right, let's see what you guys are saying. So Emily says, checking in with yourself as you live your life. Body scans, meditation, walking in nature, grounding, breath work, journaling, whatever makes you feel joy. Sean says, how much we have during this time. You know, it's been a hard time for a lot of people, but a lot of us are okay, you know, and so being grateful for whatever it is you do have, the things that are important, the roof over your head. If you've got one of those, you're doing better than a lot of folks, right? Robin says, it's not quite time to process what we've learned during COVID. The 8 of Pentacles seems more about the processing or working with what we've cultivated, right? So we're still only in the 7, right? We're still on that journey. Chris says, try and balance your time between doing the things you need to in material life, but also taking time out to mentally and emotionally regenerate. You can't fight 24 hours a day or you will burn out. Exactly right. Bye, Sue. Yeah, I keep saying, it's like these things, these big things, these are marathons and not races, right? Dealing with COVID is a marathon. We need to be thinking about the long game and how, it's like everybody's rushing for it to be over. It's not going to be over. We're going to have to find a new normal. And same with ending racism, right? It's a marathon, not a sprint. It's not going to happen overnight. We have to be pacing ourselves so we can really finish this race, right? Staying focused on all discrimination, says Kathy, right? So taking this opportunity to launch into new things. Turd says, I feel this card can speak on sustainability too and materialism. What do we actually need and what is purely want? Right. And that's, sorry, I've got lots of thoughts on your guys' answers apparently today. But like, how many of us have scaled back because of not wanting to go out and buy things or not purchasing so much online because we need things, need necessities? How much are we learning that we don't need? Like, I don't make the random runs to Target anymore and just buy whatever suits my fancy. I'm like, okay, I have my shopping list. I'm going to go in. I'm going to get out. I don't want to be doing more. I don't want to be putting anybody else at risk, putting myself at risk any more than I need to. So I'm much more efficient and less likely to just buy things I don't need because I happen to see it at Target, right? So count your blessings, as Chantal said Jackie. From far, that tree looks like it has 7 peacock feathers. It does kind of look like it with the way that the pentacles have grown. And Jilly says it all starts with looking at ourselves. Patrice also said, reassess what's really important to us. Be mindful of what we are planting and what we are fertilizing. All right. Clearly, I had lots of thoughts on that. Thanks for bearing with me. A few people didn't bear with me, but thank you for those who did. Okay. The next one, we're going a really different way. Sean says, I look around and see how blessed I am. Same, Sean, really. The Osho Zen, going back to my very first tarot deck ever, that kind of has its own system, but the artwork, oh my gosh, the artwork in this deck is so beautiful. All right, so let's see if we can find, I believe, the earthy suit here. Oh, yeah, this is the one. It's very obvious. And so the Osho Zen comes with keywords on it. And this one here is the 7 of Rainbows, which is kind of the earthy pentacle-y suit here. And it has the keyword of patience on it. So let me go ahead and pull this up and pull it back. Moon phases. Really an empressy kind of vibe, or almost a Queen of Pentacles kind of vibe. But look at, she's growing a baby, I'm pretty sure. Elle says, I've been neglecting my Osho Zen. I need to whack it out today. Yeah, this is a lovely picture, I think. Let's see. Lori says, I'm less financially efficient, so buying decks online. Yeah. We have had a problem with decks probably in this community. Heather says, I really should consider getting this deck. Isn't this a beautiful card? It's been a really long time since I worked with this deck. I think I worked with it probably about 1.5 years ago. Gosh, it's been a long time. Jody says, do you have a Facebook group? Yes, Jody, we have a Tarot Playdate Facebook group, and I'm guessing that Elle, my other admin for the group, will kindly post a link if you would like to join. We'd love to continue the discussion about that, and I'll talk more about that at the end of this here today, too. Isa Gabriel, oh, hi, you're a new name for me. 7 of Coins, Saturn and Taurus. Saturn is a great teacher. We hate when we are teens, and we appreciate when we are adults, right? Again, it's about that patience. Right, we're so impatient. We want to grow up. We want to be able to make our own choices and be responsible for ourselves. But boy, isn't it a shock when we figure out what that really means? Hashtag adulting, right? Right, kids? Pregnancy and patience. She ate a big lunch, says Lori. Well, that's one way to look at it. I tend to look at it more like pregnancy, but I can see how that perspective could work. Bastet says that's a beautiful card with all those colors and moon phases. Is that the 9 of Pence? No, it is the 7. So it's the moon phases. So that's where the number comes into play. I don't think that's, but yeah, no, definitely the 7. I didn't pull the wrong card, although I have been known to do that. So it's a fair question. Did I put the Wild Unknown into my pool of decks? I actually don't own that deck, Lori. So it's not in my pool. I'm sorry. But if you have a 7 of Pens from the Well Done Known you'd like to share in the Facebook group. I would love to see it. Looks very Empress or Gaia inspired. Definitely. Chris says the moon indicates time for me. Like you just said, Jen, some things are a marathon and not a sprint, as much as we want everything immediately these days. I mean, immediate gratification is a thing. Kathy says having a baby means patience, right? Forever and ever, right? It's that long 9 months before you actually have the baby, and then forever thereafter. Jen says there's nothing you can do to rush this situation. So enjoy the process of waiting, right? Enjoy those moments along the way. I love that. Lori's doing cartwheels. I think that's what that is anyway. So is there anything that kind of jumps out with regard to the meaning of this card before we answer the question? Or reading out of this book can be a little bit tricky because it has, let's see, is this the rainbow is the physical. I always end up reading kind of, okay, so I like to read the commentary rather than the meanings in this card because it kind of describes the artwork here, where it says, there are times when the only thing to do is wait. The seed has been planted, the child is growing in the womb, the oyster is coating the grain of sand and making it into a pearl. Is there an actual oyster in this card? I don't see an oyster in this card, but maybe you do. This card reminds us that now is the time when all that is required is to be simply alert, patient, waiting. The woman pictured here is in just such an attitude. Contented with no trace of anxiety, she is simply waiting. Through all the phases of the moon passing overhead, she remains patient, so in tune with the rhythms of the moon that she has almost become one with it. She knows it is a time to be passive, letting nature take its course. But she is neither sleepy nor indifferent. She knows it is time to be ready for something momentous. It is a time full of mystery, like the hours just before the dawn. It is a time when the only thing to do is wait. Sorry, my hand went like way over there while I was reading. Emily said, it's interesting having the pregnancy. I loved carrying life, but felt so sick throughout. Now I miss pregnancy when I'm not pregnant. It feels like forever during, but then it's gone so fast, right? The process is so important, says Neem, and it takes patience to see a process through from seed to tree. Sean says, I love that. Enjoy the wait. Jackie, the wait will be worth it. Heather says, this card is so much like the Empress or maybe even the Queen of Pentacles. Yeah, I thought the exact same thing. If I didn't say it out loud, I was thinking exactly that. Kathy says, I felt that it was forever. Pregnancy, then you have the baby, and now everything has changed. I mean, those last couple of weeks, you're like, okay, I'm done. Like, I'm ready. I'm ready to reap the rewards, you know? It looks like she's sitting in water, too. It definitely does. It has, like, this flowy, emotional energy to it. Do you think this card is similar to Three of Wands, asks Lori. Oh, that's an interesting question. I don't see it differently, but I know some people refer to that card as, like, waiting for your ship to come in. But that card to me has a much more active energy, I think, than this particular one does. But I think I kind of see where you're going with that. And Elsie is like abundance in this card. Last few weeks of pregnancy are a long time for rest and nesting. All right, so speaking of Emily, she had our third question here. How can we parent? Interesting choice of words, Emily, for your question that came up with this deck. That kind of blows my mind. How can we parent ourselves with self-love and compassion this week? Does it feel like this was a really literal answer to that question? I'm thinking maybe it is. How can we parent ourselves with self-love and compassion this week? And it's allowing ourselves to recognize that we've done the work in many cases that we need to do, and now we just kind of have to sit and wait for things to come to fruition, right? Jen says, nurture ourselves exactly where we are right now. Like, really appreciate this moment in time. And it may not be exactly the funnest moment. Maybe she has some morning sickness, you know, you don't know, but it's like finding the ways to appreciate where we are right now. I love that. Emily says, I chose that word because of the new moon in Cancer, feminine, balanced with Saturn in Capricorn, masculine. So very intentional. That's really interesting. Robin said, remain calm and centered. Bassett says, getting in sync with the moon, meditate and nurture ourselves. Yeah, I'm really working to get more in touch with the moon. So scrolling up here too, Isa said, waiting doesn't mean you do nothing. It is like being in healthy pregnancy. You're waiting for a baby, but at the same time, you do a lot of things, right? Right? You're making sure you get the baby's room ready. You have your car seat, you have your crib, you have diapers or whatever, right? Nappies, as they say in the UK. You need to look after yourself, says Jackie. Drink lots of water, says Lori. Always good advice. Being kind with ourselves whilst nurturing our inner child, says Emily. Chris says, hadn't had the answer. Enjoy the wait. Make a point in doing something you really enjoy and treat yourself, right? You know, what's the word I wanted to say? Not nurture yourself. I don't know. Pamper yourself. That was the word I wanted. Pamper yourself a little bit. We don't have to beat ourselves up to learn and grow and do better, right? And then see, this is another point too. Right now, I think there's a lot of focus in the world right now of really investigating our shadow and looking at the things that we need to learn and maybe feeling bad about the things that we didn't know, right? But being able to approach ourselves and what we need to learn or how we need to grow or what we need to grow in a loving and caring way and a compassionate way really is probably going to get us further in the end as much as we can. Jen says, have fun, do something childlike, and experience the joy of it. Nourish, don't punish, says Elle, right? So positive reinforcement is what we're after here. Let's see. Again, count your blessings, focus on the here and now. Pamper like a pamper. Do they have Pampers other places in the world other than just in the US? Is that like an international diaper nappy brand? All right, let me go ahead and put this one aside. We've got two more to get through here, but I think we're doing pretty good. It says meditate, meditate, meditate. All right, another one of my new decks came up fairly early in the second round rotation, and that is the Star Tarot, another gorgeous, beautiful deck. I feel like I have so much beauty in my decks today. I'm feeling pretty happy about this selection. Oh my gosh, I don't know why my nose always starts running during play date, but it's very annoying, and I forgot to grab a tissue today, so sorry if I'm a little sniffly. Okay, let's see what we've got here. Oh, this is, yeah, you know, it's funny. These last two cards really do sort of bring in those sort of 9 Queen of Pentacles vibes. So the Star Tarot, this is the second edition of the Star, so it's the borderless version. Look at that. So there we have the moon again, but look, we have like, are those flying horses in the sky? Let me get on her face so it'll focus. Come on. There you go. Horses flying through the sky. Nearly a new moon? Or do we just think it came past the full moon? Gorgeous Pentacles, garden. This screams like a 9 of Pentacles. I wonder what the difference is between that one, sorry, and the 9. Oh yeah, the 9 is much more traditional, but still, I had to look, like I couldn't stand it. Okay, Hen's like, I so need this deck. Now that's abundance. Kay says same, meaning like it feels very 9 of Pentacles. Heather says, it's a waning moon, so just after the full moon. Thank you. I never can quite tell which direction yet. I'm very, very, very new to my moon studies. Emily says, that's so beautiful. It doesn't. It feels very dreamy. Sean's like, meh. You know? We have such varied tastes in this group. T-Cat says, how do you have room to all those big tarot boxes? You never need. I have a closet over there that's now housing them. Butterfly Magic says, the 9 of Pentacles is right there waiting for you in that box. Did you notice that reaching with one hand? Well, they were in order, so it wasn't hard to find. But the 9 of Pentacles, that's my favorite minor arcana card, which is really fun because that was our very first Playdate card as well. So does anything kind of immediately jump out at you? You know, one of the things that I love about this particular deck is they do kind of like what that Ultimate Guide does and will call out the various symbols that are in the cards. Let me see if I can find see, they order this differently. They do the 1 through 10, and then they do, or the ace through 10, and then they do the courts, and then they do the majors. Oh no, not the 10 of Pentacles. 7 of Pentacles. Let's see here. Heather, this is too much like the 9 for me. Let's see. Keywords, finding and following your Dharma. Interesting. So in this book, I'm going to have to put this down for just a second, but for those of you who don't have this book, what I love about it's full color, it's a beautiful guidebook, but here they will like bold a lot of the, and I don't know if you can necessarily focus on that, but they'll bold like the maiden, the garland of harvest, 6 shining pentacles. Are there only 6 shining pentacles? Plus the one in the center of her heart. The 6-pointed star, the 7 ascending butterflies, the heart chakra holds the 7th pentacle. So I find that really cool. So like, for example, the 6-pointed star that's in the middle of her chest there symbolizes the balance between fire, water, and masculine, feminine aspects of spirit matter. The 7 ascending butterflies shine with colors of the chakras. Ooh, they had a misspelling in there, indicating transformation and change leading to a new perspective. The heart chakra holds the 7th pentacle, a 5-pointed star symbolizing the microcosm of the macrocosm in each of us working from the heart. Wow. So this deck can get intense, but they pass over the balsamic moon, which, by the way, there's a balsamic moon this Friday. We'll be in the balsamic moon phase. I know because my friend researched it. So we're having a balsamic moon tarot and wine night. Leading thoughts to new ideas and places, as well as a new cycle of evolution. Elle says, I'm confused by the horses. So the butterflies lead the eye to the rainbow horses of the dream time, shifting the consciousness to higher levels of thinking and consideration. So that's how Kathy McClelland explains the horses. T-Cat says, good tip. Got to toss off my boyfriend's clothes from the closets to find room for tarot boxes. See, there you go. All right, so let's see if we can still answer the 4th question from Shane today. Shane, are you still awake? And Patrice had noted that we need to put our hearts into our creations and enjoy the transformative butterfly energy. Enjoy the beauty we have created. I love that. Thank you, Patrice. Kathy said it's the maiden, so we are beginning to manifest, right? Right? I love that. Heather's still, or Elle's still confused. Sean's confused. Yeah, I just think it's cool and pretty. So, all right. So Shane's question is, what's something to remember to keep spirits high and something fun right now? And have fun right now? What's something to remember to keep spirits high and have fun right now? I'm pretty sure I think that's what that said. So with this card, how would you answer that question? Shane says, funny enough, I was using watercolor pencils for the first time, working hard and slowly seeing the outcome. Way to be artistic. So that's one way you can have fun, Shane, is to be artistic and patient with your efforts, right? The horses feel so whimsical, says Shane. Look around and notice the magic, says Hen. Let's see, Elle, there's a lot going on in that card. There is a lot going on in this card. They're very beautiful, sometimes overwhelming. I didn't get this card when I was working with it, I'll admit. Cloud scrying, says Emily, like looking up and seeing what you see in the clouds, right? Let's see, what's something to remember to keep spirits high? And again, I think the way that we've answered a lot of the other questions today, it's being able to recognize what we have now, the good things, having patience, right, with progress, whatever that might be, and being able to enjoy the fruits of our labor, like, you know, hang out under the tree, right? Cradle your baby that hasn't yet shown up, you know, whatever it might be. Thank you. Let's see. To remember that you have everything you need right now. Exactly, Sean. Yeah, that's good stuff. Yeah, this feels like a very magical card, doesn't it? All right, I won't torture you too much with that one because I know it's confusing to some. All right, our last one, we're going to go a little more classic here with another deck I haven't pulled out in a while, the Druid Crat, our Jilly's favorite deck. Okay. Right, at least this one, even though it's in a 2-box, at least contains the cards, so I don't have a situation like I did with the Tarot of Dreams. Okay, let's look at this one. Oh, I like this one. You know why I like this one? So this is a trimmed version of this deck. So I actually cut off the borders. It's the only second, yeah, trim job that I've done so far to date. So I like this because now he's actually starting to reap some of those rewards. So we have the Pentacles over there. Is that like a snowy landscape? Very interesting. Yeah, this has a great guidebook, although I haven't really read much of it yet. And Emily, I think, was answering that last question on how we can have fun, looking with childlike eyes, seeing the wonder and beauty, running in the fields, lying in the sun, cuddling fur babies. Yes, yes, yes. Heather asks, is he harvesting mistletoe? That would be a great question to ask the people in the room who know plants better than I do. I really am thinking about maybe getting like the Herb Crafter's Tarot. Excuse me. I can't get that to focus on that plant. Okay, let me try here. There we go. Is that mistletoe? I do not know. Yep, mistletoe, says Bastet. Oh, Sandra says mistletoe, sacred to the Druids. All right, so y'all know mistletoe even better than I do. So Jen says putting in the effort. Emily says he seems to only be harvesting what he needs, right? Not chopping everything down, but just getting the piece that he needs. So clearly, you know, kind of maybe this is the tail end of the 7 leading more into the 8, right? The Druids saw mistletoe as a magical aphrodisiac, says Heather. So is that how we got to the kissing under the mistletoe? T-Cat, here we have a real reward situation. All the waiting and thinking is gone, and we finally have something concrete, right? So keep your thoughts coming, and I'm going to look in this book too. We've got lots of good book stuff today. Although usually the Star Tarot has that was very kind of out there, whereas I feel like before I've gotten better. Let's see. You can now start to take a break and appreciate the results of all your hard work and effort. Often we spend so much time trying to reach our goals or just cope with life, we rarely pause to simply enjoy what we have actually achieved. Just as a farmer might take pleasure in their harvest, so we can gain a deep satisfaction in knowing that our work is bearing fruit. So bearing fruit, harvesting, clearing, you know, all those kinds of ideas. Oh, it is a winter herb, which explains why it comes out at Christmas. So the snow, it all makes sense. Yeah, this is, I really, Elle, I know you don't like this deck so much because she was teasing me for loving this deck, but I really want to, there it is, meh, Simon. But I really want to work with this one again soon. In fact, it might come up here that I start working with it in the next couple of weeks. All right, so, how fortuitous that Jilly's question is our 5th question, and this is, I know, Jilly's favorite deck, or one of her favorites. What blind spots do we need to see? Interesting. So how would we answer what blind spots do we need to see with this card? Emily says, I think there's poisonous berries on the mistletoe. Emily, you may have just answered the question, right? So while this is beautiful and we've done a lot of hard work, there could be some poisonous berries. So watch out for the poisonous berries. That could be our blind spot. Thanks for that, because I was going to struggle with that for a minute. Need to look at what we have to cut from our lives, says Jen. So yeah, so maybe what harvesting do we need to do? Heather says, well, clearly with that hood up, he can't see anything going on around him, right? So maybe he's so focused on the harvesting of what he's doing, he could miss something coming up behind him, beside him. Very good point, right? Oh, I love that with this particular card. Thank you, Jennifer. Val says, like that. Emily says, yes, what's behind them? Collecting clutter in our lives. Yes. Yes. So don't eat the poisonous berries. Maybe take your hood down. Make sure you've got your eyes open to see what's around you. We've all been, we've been so focused on whatever it is that we've been growing, manifesting, working for, that sometimes we might be so focused on that we could miss what else is going on around us, right? Kathy says the gifts that we have but don't recognize. The mistletoe symbolizes that life never dies. Jackie says, see the bigger picture. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, you guys were quick with the answers on that one. How do you feel about that, Jilly? Does it answer your question all right? If so, we'll take a quick moment to talk about this card when it's in a reversed position or in an obstacle or blocking position. I'm going to pull up I love to pull up my little tarot app that I have for reversals because I don't work with them. And for those who do, I'm always interested too. Do you see the opposite energy? Do you see enhanced energy when this card is reversed? So, no, not the 10. No. That's from last week. How about our 7 of Pentacles reversed? All right, Jilly was good with the answers to the question. So Kiana's ready for us with the reversals. Procrastination, a need to take action or make a decision. Anxiety about a loan or financial agreement. Dissatisfaction with work, giving up too early. So not having that patience to see it through to the end. Ooh, interesting. Feeling like your work isn't being rewarded. Impatience, unemployment, limited success, lack of long-term vision, not following through. See, this right here, the 7 of Pentacles reverse is probably how I feel when I try and start a new like healthy eating and exercise regimen. It's like, I want to see results so quickly that I don't have the patience to allow the time. And so, or I'm looking back and remembering how things used to be, and I'm not really focused on what can be. And so I will give up out of pure impatience, which is not the right way to harness the energy of this card. Chris says the pens are in the ground, but he's concerned with what's in the tree. Is there something drawing our attention away from what's important? Are you out of here, Sean? Is that what that is? If so, have a good day. Chantal says impatient. Kathy, not wanting to put forth the energy, just ponder on what you want. Emily, it feels a bit like the person isn't sure what he or she wants yet, right? So I really feel like that impatience and sort of that unwillingness to sort of wait it out. Some other keywords here from my app: ready to give up, repeating mistakes. Ooh, that's a good one. Ignoring feedback, having the wrong priorities. Heather says, I have the patience of an overexcited puppy. This card reversed sums me up perfectly. Yeah, me too. I tend to be an immediate gratification person. It's a problem. So I hear you and I feel you. Any other thoughts on this? There's some advice here in my little app. So instead of turning your back on this thing you've invested so much into, look for the lessons in your errors. Though you may be disappointed, it is likely that you've learned many things that will contribute to future success, right? So even when things don't turn out the way that we want, it doesn't mean we can't learn from them and move forward, right? Don't they say kind of like the only way to succeed truly is to fail many times, right? Jenny said, what app do you have for reverse meaning? So I have an app on my phone, and this is only, I think, for Android. I don't think they have it for iOS. It's called the Galaxy Tarot, and it's a free app, and I really love it. It uses the RWS. Like, I know a lot of people have like the Fool's Dog apps, and I have a few of those as well for different decks, and I sometimes will get those to have the guidebooks. So for example, I have the original Corinne Kenner Wizard's Tarot, and I have the Fool's Dog app for that so that I can have the guidebook. But once I pull up a card, so for example, here our little 7, let's see if I can do this in the mirror, right? So then I get sort of an upright meanings, and then I can click this little reversal, and I'll get the reverse meanings. And then it will also dive into all the different symbols and colors that I might see in the card. So this can be a really, it's kind of like having this book, but with different interpretations. So Chris said, reversed, is it time to call it a day with this? Might need to recognize that this is a lost cause, an unsuccessful harvest. Don't waste any more time in vain on it. So maybe if the card's like reversed in more of an advice position, is that kind of something that would make sense? T-Cat says it feels like the person is stuck on the planning part and just don't know how to really make it into action. Butterfly Magic says, yes, failing is useful. I enjoy making mistakes. Well, you're a better person than I am. I don't enjoy it, but I can recognize that I can learn from them. Get the book. Symbolism is Explained. Yeah, we've talked about that book quite a lot on Tarot Playdate. All right. So for those of you who have stuck with me, as I mentioned earlier, we do have a Facebook group where we love to continue the discussion. So if you haven't joined yet and are interested in that, I'd love to see other people's versions of the card that we pulled in this week or in prior weeks. And there's no expiration date. If you go back and you're watching the very first one of these and want to participate in the discussion about the Nine of Pentacles, please feel free. Like, really, I love seeing people kind of catch up on older play dates. And I have an activity for you. If you do like to use the Tarot Playbook, which we originally had grand hopes for, haven't heard anybody talk about it in ages, and yet I'm so stubborn, I won't stop at least mentioning the activity for the week. So I just keep it going in case somebody surprises me one day. And there's an activity in this book associated with the Seven of Pentacles, although it probably has nothing to do with the card. It's more a way to bond with your deck on page 152 called A Novel Approach. And this has a lot of words. So this looks like it might be a fairly in-depth activity, but we have an alternate activity. And this one is a Jilly activity. What was last week? 10? Oh yeah, last week's 10, that was a Jilly activity as well. Jilly tackled the Pentacle suit for me the night before we launched Playdate. Thank you, Jilly. All right, so this week's activity, which I will post in the description box below, as well as in the Playdate Facebook group. And I don't think I post them on Instagram, but I will post the cards that we pulled on Instagram. All right, Seven of Pentacles, taking care while awaiting the outcome. This card, let me pull this over here. This card, oh, nope, I jumped ahead. Are you working on a project that's almost completed? Have you planted a garden this season, nurtured it, and now you are able to harvest what you planted? This card tells us we're almost there, just a little longer. Hang in there and practice good self-care. This week, give yourself a pamper night. Ooh, embrace this one, right? Give yourself a pamper night. Take a bubble bath, get all snuggled in bed, and don't forget to bring your cards and favorite beverage and snack food. Spend time looking at your favorite decks, cards, and do a couple of your favorite spreads or make up a new favorite self-care reading. So there's nothing really specific here to do, but I would love to hear either in the Facebook group or on Instagram if you use the hashtag Tarot Playdate. What did you do to pamper yourself this week? How did you look back on what you've accomplished while you're patiently waiting for things to finish up or whatnot? I would love to know what you do and share those so that maybe some of the rest of us can try whatever that is. All right. Let's see if I missed any comments before I say goodbye to you all. But I want to thank you once again for being there. Oak Mama, oh, you were just literally at the end. Jody, thank you. Hopefully you answered the questions so we can let you into the Facebook group. A pamper night. Yeah, that's good homework, Jelly. Thanks for that. I think this is a perfect time for us to get this card and that Playdate activity. All right, you all. I will see you next week for who knows what card. And let me know how you get on with the Seven of Pentacles this week. Thank you all for being here, for participating, for bringing your questions, thoughts, and ideas. Thank you to all the mods. Thank you, Elle, for posting the links. And see, gratitude, right? All right, you all. I will see you next week. Much love to you all. Bye. Oh, this is going to do that thing again. There we go. All right, bye for real.